Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This time around we've got another Big Bad Toy Store haul. Over the last few months I feel like pre-orders have just been coming in like crazy. So much so that even though we've got 10 plus figures to look at today, this was actually only half of what was in my pile of loot. I decided to only ship out part of it to avoid kind of overwhelming myself with all these figures. But yeah, this time around we've got a pretty random assortment of figures from a lot of different companies, so let's just get into it. Starting off with a figure that I've really been looking forward to, the Storm Arena Sagat. I talked about my overall thoughts on the Storm Arena line in the last episode. If you watched that, then you already know that I'm a big fan of the line, with a few critiques, but it's really interesting comparing this line to Jada's Street Fighter line. I think they both have their place in a person's collection, and I appreciate them for different reasons. But whether you collect both like me, or if you're only into one or the other, I don't think you can really go wrong. Street Fighter fans are in a great spot for action figures. I unfortunately missed the alt color Sagats that went up on Big Bad Toy Store for like 30 seconds before it sold out, but we got this one, so. Speaking of Jada, we've got the Akuma from their Street Fighter 2 line. I really don't have much to say about this one. Just looks like another very solid Street Fighter figure from Jada Toys. I've got Balrog and E Honda in my pile of loot currently, so we're really close to getting that full roster completed. We're just waiting on Zangief and T-Hawk now. And then for me personally, I need to pick up an Evo Ryu at some point still. Plus, all the alt colors that they do, including the P2 Blanca that's coming out soon. Looking forward to that one. And then moving over to 3-0, we've got the latest figure in their Transformers MDLX line, which is, in my opinion, the best Transformers line. I'm always happy to add more characters to the collection, although this guy is basically just a recolor of Sideswipe with a couple different parts. But I don't mind because, Transformers have been doing that forever, so nothing new there. And then next up we've got the new 1/12 scale Acid Rain figures from Fexed Hobby. So I've actually got the whole first wave here, which includes 4 figures. These are probably the figures that I was most excited for with this pile of loot. I've always admired Acid Rain from afar, and I did actually pick up a few figures once when they were on sale, but normally they're pretty darn expensive, and it's also a really deep line to try and get into. So getting these figures coming in at a lower price point than their usual stuff in 1/12 scale, which is what I mostly collect, something I really didn't know that I wanted, but now that it's here, gotta have it. Like I said, first wave here is 4 figures, and although there are some reused parts across them, I think they all still have a pretty unique feel to them. But yeah, I don't know. These just seem like a lot of fun, and you can really fit them in with a lot of your other sci-fi or military type stuff. I did also get the Wave 1.5, including the vehicle, so I'm really looking forward to getting that. Vehicles were always like some of my favorite toys as a kid, but the lines that I collect now don't really do any vehicles except like Archcore. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, excited for these and the upcoming figures and vehicles that they have shown so far. Then we've got a couple new releases from Big Bad Workshop and their Operation Monster Force line. This line is a ton of fun. I really like the blend of the military and then like the classic monsters. If you know anything about this line, you'll know that they have a lot of reuse and repaints, but I think they do a good job of still making each figure feel unique. Like for this guy, for example, I'm pretty sure we've seen all these parts before, other than the new head, but it still stands out from the other characters we've gotten so far. Plus, with all the accessories and customizing options, you can, really make it your own thing. And then the other one from Monster Force is going to be their new Chatsworth figure, basically the Bigfoot guy. Really fun design on this figure, but I get the feeling that he won't be the greatest at posing. Which, I guess you don't need him to do that much besides holding his big Gatling gun. or like some basic standing or crouching type poses, but you know, more articulation would always be appreciated. I do think it's neat to have the factions in this line get filled out by some other, you know, some more like non-standard type characters. Like you got this guy, we had the werewolf as well. Although I do agree with some people I've seen online saying that Chatsworth here doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the line. He has a bit more of a cartoony look, but you know, I still think it works well enough. Next up, we've got something I've been waiting quite a while for, and it's going to be tough to fit it all on screen here, but it's going to be the Guardian of the Horde number 5 Magma Forge Master, coming from Medi Toys, or whatever they go by these days. Big Bad Toy Store initially put up 3 of these figures for pre-order. I got the Morna, which is a really cool figure, but for whatever reason my pre-order for Keel ended up getting cancelled. I think it was a supply issue, but you know, unfortunate regardless. I was worried the same thing was going to happen with this guy, but no, here he is. With smaller companies and third-party stuff, I know it can be tricky for stores to get them in and, you know, be able to sell them without issue. I don't think any of the other figures in this line have gone up on Big Bad Toy Store, so I will have to track them down somewhere else, I guess. I've never actually played World of Warcraft, or any Warcraft games for that matter, but I've always loved the designs. Although for this guy I will say I have seen a few reviews, and it looks like, as is, his legs are basically unposable with the stiff leather pants he's got. So I'll probably remove those, but otherwise I want to have him displayed with all of his armor and everything like that. Looking big and bulky and very cool. Then we've got the latest figure in the Astrobots line, that being Atlas here, who is number 8. Astrobots is a really fun line. I like the designs a lot, and the figures really feel like they're meant to be played with. They're mostly like molded plastic with minimal paint, plus a lot of articulation, and I think a lot of them have light up features too. There are a few of the early figures that I'm still missing, but I've been trying to keep up with new releases, which thankfully are pretty few and far between, so not very hard to do. But yeah, they kind of remind me of like IDW Transformers, sort of, or like some more modern mecha designs, but yeah, really cool. Then for another one I've been waiting a really long time for, we've got the Noda Enveloped Yamo Series Thunderbolt. This one is the 2-pack version, which includes the regular version of the character and then like the powered up electrified form you'll see in the pictures. Or, you know, if you wanted, you could just have them be 2 separate characters as well. I really like the designs of this line. They kind of remind me of Black Myth Wukong. I actually don't have my other enveloped Yamo figures on display right now, just due to lack of space, but I'll definitely be grabbing them out of storage for some posing with these guys. I also have the Cyan Lion in my pile of loot, which is probably the figure in this line that I was most excited for. Originally, for that one, I was going to get like the standard and the bloody version, plus the regular and bloody throne that he sits on, but I ended up just going with the regular figure and no throne at all. As cool as all that is, you know, I really don't need it, and I'm sure I'll appreciate saving the storage space and the cash, so. But yeah, really cool figures in this line. I don't know if they actually have anything else slated for release, but I hope the line continues. And then for our last figure, we've got the Roman Key big guy. This one I got is the black skin version. I've heard some mixed things about this figure, but I still think it looks pretty good. It seems like a ton of companies these days are doing blank bodies right now, which I don't mind. I think they're fun to mess with, and you know, I've said this before, but they work as good stand-ins for posing with other figures. I just picked up this version since it was the only pre-order that wasn't sold out, but you know, I may go back and pick up the other ones if I end up really liking it. I do have my eye on some other blank bodies, which, you know, I don't really need, but something about them I just really like. So I did say that was the last figure, but I've got a couple other things. So I've got some Star Wars Unlimited stuff. So I got the 2 Jump to Lightspeed Spotlight decks for Han Solo and Boba Fett. And then I also picked up the 2025 gift box. So I may have mentioned it in a previous video, but you know, I also collect trading cards, which I'm sure doesn't come as a surprise to you guys. But yeah, with all the figures that I've been getting, TCGs have kind of been put on the back burner for a while, but I'm trying to get back into them. I recently picked up a sealed case of Jump to Lightspeed finally, which is still on the way due to a whole thing going on with the post office right now. But anyway, getting that meant that, you know, for me, I could finally grab these starter decks here. I do find it interesting how they switched from like the you know, like the 2-player starter sets to just individual starter decks, but you know, it doesn't really make much of a difference to me. These might actually be better. I think they include a booster pack. Yeah, so I guess you get even more out of these. And then, like I said, I also picked up the 2025 gift box, but I kind of want to wait to open it. I do collect cards in chronological order, you know, of like set release, and I have not gotten around to opening any Legends of the Force or Secrets of Power yet, so kind of want to wait on this. But I really wanted to pick this up because of the exclusive cards, that being the Qui-Gon Leader, Obi-Wan, and Darth Sidious here. Since The Phantom Menace is my favorite Star Wars movie, and yes, that is my real, genuine opinion. I know it's not a popular one, but what can I say? So yeah, that was everything that I got in this Big Bad Toy Store haul. During the like later chunk of 2025, I feel like I wasn't getting any pre-orders coming in, and now it feels like they're all just coming one after another. I got my last pile of loot delivered back in February, and since then, like, over 20 things have come in. And, you know, like I said, I only did half of that for this video. We'll do the other half in the next Big Bad Toy Store haul. But yeah, what that means is I'll probably have that next Big Bad Toy Store video coming out sooner rather than later. But for now, these are the things I was most excited to pick up. Really hoping I can get my Star Wars booster case in soon to start opening that up. But that package is currently in limbo with USPS, so no idea when that's going to get here. But anyway, you know, thanks as always for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.